This is blacklight. Yeah. Let me see what this is. So we actually, I don't know where this project is, but we recorded these like for the sake of CPU. A lot of the vocals, like we printed out the backing tracks and then opened those up on Ableton. So it's just one audio track, recorded on there, so you can have like really low latency. Printed all that, put it back in this project. So this is like all of the harmonies put together. Let's see where these are at. I wish we hadn't printed all the like pitch correction stuff we did, but so as you can tell, they're like really auto-tuned. I'll let you decide. So they're like really pitched. This one, I hope it still has everything on there. Yeah, so we've got a vocal compressor on there that's like actually squashing like pretty hard. Right, we're getting like almost minus 10 dB of gain reduction, but a tip that we got from some of our friends who are like in the pop music production, and they do a lot of really cool vocal stuff. They compress the fuck out of the vocal, like always, like really compressed. Obviously, like don't overdo it, but like I don't have like 6 compressors getting minus 10 dB, but you know we have one. It's getting pretty strong, and then I'm pretty sure on the group we've got another. Oh no, we've got vinyl. And then we've got a Pro Q, probably queuing out quite a bit, yeah. We're actually using Waves Tune. Yeah, it's very similar to Melodyne. So like when you record it, when you push vocals through it, it'll like analyze everything on a frequency spectrum, and then it'll pull it up on like a piano roll, similar to like MIDI on Ableton, and you can just like click and drag and figure it out. Yeah, so we've got, I'll start there. So we've got quite a bit of compression on here, and then we've got Nectar on it, and Nectar is literally only doing EQing and harmony at this point. It's EQing everything under 100 completely out, and most of this chunk too because of how wide the Q is. And then the harmonies, it's getting 1/4 underneath it and a third up, so I can play it like with and without. And that's a really like artificial harmonies are really cool for getting like vocoded effects without like the wetness that comes from vocoders. Like you know, like drenched the vocal fields in vocoder, and it's like really hard to mix and stuff. This is a cool way to get that effect. Yeah, and then we've got these are like not voiced at all. They're just compressed really hard and auto-tune really hard, and they just add like they're really subtle. They just kind of like add body to it. Yeah, that's cool. Fleet Foxes is cool. We've got regular Ableton reverb on there that we like tailored quite a bit. Turned off the input processing, and like the diffusion network is pretty much only like putting out reverb on the high end, like everything above 4K, everything below 4K and above 500 hertz. So it's not too bright of a reverb, and it's not too muddy of a reverb. It's just kind of like right where we want our vocals to sit. Delay is really simple. Just left is 4 and 8, and it's really subtle on all of them. Like we just kind of wanted to give it a spacey feel without really drowning it in delay. See, it's really like subtle, and it just kind of adds texture when it's all playing together. Lastly, Isotope Vinyls was really giving it its character, and this is a really cool plugin that we got from Machine?
No, I literally got it from an email blast from Isotope. Oh, check this out. Oh, wait, it's sick.
Yeah, we were looking at how to do like Machine style vocals, because they do really, really dope like.
You should put on
Oh man, do I know
Minimize?
a tree that's like a home, or close enough.
these really like telephone style vocals, you know, and that filtered effects. And vinyl ended up being like exactly that. He got it in an email blast and he started fucking around with it, and it's the best. Like I'll show you without it.
White gleaming halo from the top of your head.
And so you can, this plugin's pretty cool. You can add in a bunch of different kinds of noise, and then it has this like year knob that literally like gives you the type of like vibe that you would get playing out of a kind of like a speaker from that year. So when you're playing out of like a megaphone from like from like the 20s or whatever, or the lowest they have is like 1930. It's like really filtered.
White gleaming halo from the top of your head.
Right, 200s or 2000s is kind of like a little bit filtered, a little bit more lo-fi, and the more you go, the more lo-fi you get.
White gleaming halo from the top of your head. White gleaming halo from the top of your head.
Yeah, that actually ended up giving the delays a really cool character as well, and it gave it a lot of artifact in the high end that wasn't really there before. If you can hear that, or like
White gleaming halo, white gleaming
give them like bouncing.
from the top of your head.
Yeah.
I lost while swimming through these thoughts made of land.
Yeah, so it's often a lot more simple than it seems. For us, it was really like dialing in the compressors to get like really tight dynamics, dialing in the auto tune to make sure that like things were really tight in the pitch world, so that all the harmonizing sounds really good. When you have like fluctuation in pitch, it like really destroys harmonic. I don't even know what you would call that. Like any kind of like artificial harmonics that you add into it, like sounds really bad when you have pitchy stuff. So, and that's something we learned the hard way, right? Like, yeah, like a lot of like putting on vocoders or putting on like artificial harmonics things and getting like really horrible sounding harmonics. This time we spent a lot of time, like you heard, on those like pitching them and making sure that everything was like dialed in. But the point of this wasn't to have a beautiful performance. It was like the character of the voice, you know, kind of sounding robotic. Yeah, are there any questions about this? Yeah. Oh, no, I'll show you. So, if you see right here,
White gleaming halo from the top of your head.
you see the red that's coming down right there? Yeah, so that's how much, like how many dBs it's getting like lessen in volume as it's compressing, right? I know you were here for the last compression talk we had. For anyone who like isn't too familiar with compressors, essentially like you're setting a threshold, and anything that passes above that threshold, the volume gets pushed down, so that everything maintains in like a little dynamic of loudness that you set for it. So for vocals to cut through in mixes, like a lot of pop artists really compress them really hard, so that there isn't a lot of dynamics and there aren't a lot of like quiet spots in words or in like breaths or anything. Everything gets really brought out to the front. Everything gets really compressed and pushed out, and that's why like usually I wouldn't recommend compressing anything more than maybe like 6 dB of gain reduction. But for vocals, like we'll push it, and we'll show you on the other project. We had like 2 or 3 compressors doing like -5 or -6 on each one, and like really compressing. But that's what made it so easy for us to mix them in the front and have everything else exist behind them. Yeah. Is there any other questions about like this particular thing?
So for waves
It's in here.
see you there. For the basically the auto tune. So pretty much all you guys do is drag it all up and down.
Yeah, let me open up an instance and see if it like. Waves tune.
Waves tune acts exactly the same as Antares, right?
Yeah, well, you'll see.
Antares on auto tune.
There's a white gleaming halo from the top of your head.
So it'll literally draw it in like this, right? So you can
So it's just like no.
Exactly. It's like a mix of auto. You can use this as auto tune. Like they have these settings down here where you can literally set like the speed the speed at which it's correcting notes, the actual transition between notes, like how much you want it to glide, and then the last one is ratio. So like how wet the corrections are, which is very similar to auto tune and Atari. So you can use it like directly like that, but it also has the option of they have all these tools right here in the middle that let you get like really. You can go in and like cut like you can zoom in really far and get like really specific cuts on where words are transitioning and pitch those, and like it's really cool. You can even like you can have pencil tools and draw the pitch you want. You know what I mean? Like you could literally fucking have this just fucking do that.
There's a white gleaming halo from the top of your head.
You know, there's some like pretty dope shit that you can do with this. It's really powerful if you're trying to get like really inorganic sounds. Yeah.
That like the like super heavy compression is also in my like inorganic sounding stuff. Like if you're doing an acoustic track, you wouldn't want to compress the vocals that much.
Yeah, agreed. It really depends on the mix, right? Like it's what you want it to sound like. If you want it to sound like you're in an environment like if you want it to sound like you're hearing this in like a room, like a rock band, you want it to feel like you're in like a garage, for example. You know, like that's what dictates your mix. You know, for us, like it wants to exist in this kind of like really heavy digitalized world. So everything has to feel as digital as the rest of it, and like the production is obviously like crazy digital. And if the vocals don't match that ambient, like it's gonna sound out of place always. The same with like choosing samples or like working with any audio in your music. If it doesn't fit the space of your music, it's always gonna feel out of place, and you'll be listening to music with I don't know why this doesn't feel right. You know, it's all about matching that on. And like you said, if you were doing like for here, we used to do like I did like acoustic Arabic. It was like an Arabic violin. It was like I can't remember what it's called, and then like a drummer and like a vocalist, and they wanted it to sound like you were in like a plaza, you know. So it was like really dynamic and like muddy and like thick, but it was cool, and like Tom Herb liked it, and the mix was dope, you know. Like it's that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add to it.
No.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions about this specifically? No. So you want to do? Or I guess.
Sincerely.
Okay.
Go ahead and give you-
Yeah, let's just sincerely real fast.
Tracks are in there.
31. Like I said, these are like not for us, like the music was really important in a lot of these and the sound design, but like our music isn't necessarily very complex, you know. And we also group a lot of stuff, like our drum racks and everything are always like compressed. A lot of producers will be like, my track has 100 tracks, and you see it, it's like all 4 of their snares are on like separate tracks, and then they have like another one doubled under there, and then like every hat sample is like on, and their drum rack is like 30 tracks, and you're like, that's not right. Yeah. So this one we use Saurus, which is like an analog model digital plugin that he found, and it's really dope. Oh shit, this is Vanguard. Never mind.
We have the source.
But that's the main one, right? Saurus. Oh no, you're right. Okay, so yeah. So this main part has several pieces to it. The main one is Saurus, and it's like an analog model plugin. We actually started with a preset on this one, like was kind of interesting, but we ended up like redoing all of the like we kept the envelope. It was like a really nice sounding pad, but we ended up redoing like all the wave form side of it, like redoing all the oscillator, like we re-chose all the oscillators, whatever, and then we did a lot in the maybe it wasn't this, maybe it was Vanguard. Either way, this one started as a preset on this one, and then we warped it from there. And this one kind of like opens up and is a lot of the body of the main sound.
We should bring up the automation too.
Yeah, so we've got the gate on the arpeggiator automating, and that's giving it the like one part of the openingness of it, right? We have also got the filter on there, I believe. If it's not on this one, it's on the other one. This is Redux. This sounds like it's the. We can check actually. Does anyone see anything moving?
Cut off.
No, it's so it's automating probably the filter cutoff, but it's not showing up on the plugin. And then lastly, like at the end there, we've got a reverb that picks up, and then a downsampler that crushes everything after the reverb, and that's how we're getting that really big like opening up, kind of like. Oh my god, my computer's freaking out.
What is that crushing?
Well, so it's a plugin called Redux, and what it does is it reduces the bits, so it's like reducing the sample rate, like as it's going down, and so it becomes like less and less. What's the fucking term for that?
Quality.
No, I mean because we're like
Or
more
less-
less
less
quality. Like
rate.
essentially, like when you record audio to digital, like it takes X amount of points. Yeah, how many samples it takes is like how representative of the original sound, right? And this is what?
Ever heard of wobble? Go yeah instead of wah 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 wah. Okay, they use Redux for that.
Yeah, essentially when you record like anything onto a computer, it has to go like ones and zeros, right? It has to turn into digital, and that's like how many samples you take per like as it's recording is going to be like how high quality of how accurate it is according to the original signal, right? And what this is doing is like literally reducing the number of samples per time, and so like it's becoming blockier and blockier. Technically, if that makes sense. Like blockier isn't the technical term I'm blanking on right now, but
music.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah, literally, like it's called 8-bit because they could only record it on like 8-bit memory at the time, which like only had so much. Like you could do like a sine wave, and that would come up as a square wave because it was only taking up 2 points at a time. You know, so like that's where you're getting that like saltier, yeah, like kind of like crispier sound, and that's kind of what we're doing here. We're using a bit reducer to do that, and we have that on all our tracks. I don't know if you. I think
you
you.
don't ever do that to a group, do you?
Yeah, you can. We just have it doing differently on different tracks.
Yeah,
Like
I guess-
more reduction on some because some it doesn't
Right.
sound good.
Right. So you want to have that fine control.
Yeah, and then it's pretty much the same on all of them. Vanguard is a plugin that we use that like we got turned on to by Killer Noise like on like an Instagram video like 3 years ago. He loves it. I love it. He loves it. Yeah, it's tight. Brass. The bass line was made on Saurus. Pretty simple. What has this got? We've got a compressor on there, squashing it pretty hard. Honestly, we're getting like 5 dB gain reduction on there. I don't know if you can see on there, the ratio is pretty low because we wanted, at least on the glue compressor, the ratio is opposite to what it is on other compressors. So on other ones, like a higher ratio means you're compressing harder. On this one, it's the opposite. So we have it at 2, which is the highest form of compression you can get. The attack is pretty lengthy because we didn't want to compromise the punch of the bass line. We just kind of wanted to compress everything after it. We're boosting the bass a little bit and cutting out some of the mud. Yeah, we've really realized that like it's like subtle cuts. Yeah, like, and then we have a sidechain that I don't think is doing anything at this point. It might be doing something later. I don't know. Could be an oversight. I think at one point it was sidechain to clappy, haha.
We were trying to be cringe when we named that one.
It worked. And then we've got operator sub bass. It's like the dopest sub bass.
My God.
Yeah. It's the truth, dude. It's the fucking truth. But actually, our bass line is massive, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So that one's cool. That one's like just a sub bass that he designed. It's like a pretty simple. Like the envelope is pretty easy, and then we've got like a little bit of pitching going on that you can like automate here, and then it's just like a nice plucky, like almost 808 kind of sub bass. But the real girth of this is from Isotope Trash. Like if you hear without, just
It sounds like the bass is like
yeah. So Isotope Trash is a really dope plugin that Noguera uses a lot, and they like swear by it, and it's really awesome. And yeah, this has a bunch of shit going on. This has like, I don't think we're filtering anything. We fucked around with the shape of the actual like distortion. We're using a couple of different things here. They have so Trash. This is like the distorter, and then we have it has like a. I don't really know, to be perfectly honest with you, what like many of these things do. Like I don't know what convolve is.
Is that a word?
Yeah, it might be a convolution. Like it might like model other distortion like amplifiers and stuff. I'm not really sure. I would assume that's what it's doing, but and then we have some compression going on. It's really gentle here, as you can see. But yeah, that's really like the girth of that sound was Trash. Yeah, it kind of came from Mike Gao. He's a dope producer, and he like used to talk about how he'd use like operator, like just operator on a sub bass, and then he'd throw like 3 limiters on there until it was like really crunchy, and that's how you get like a really kind of crazy harmonic sound. And that was the idea behind this one, and then we just fucked around with it, and then we got that. Yeah, yeah. Mainly, this stuff is all about like this, like the envelope shaping. You know, like the biggest thing about this sound, I would say, is like how it's shaped internally and massive, and getting that really nice like round, like boom, you know, when it hits, and it sounds really dope live. This sub is kind of blown. So we spent a long time on that. Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to look at the envelope that he made again.
super simple.
Yeah, it's super simple. Give it some attack, more than you think. Honestly, on sub bass, people, but like, it actually also helps like not interfere with the kick.
And prevent clipping.
Yeah, it prevents clipping. It also like moves it a millisecond or two away from the kick, and like I don't even think we have this sidechain to the kick at all. Maybe like a tiny bit. Yeah, like literally nothing. Like 2 dB gain reduction.
So do you guys have like your side chains and your kick? Do you have like different parameters based on what you
Yeah,
Like yeah. Do you have different like attack releases?
yeah, big time. It's like a post from the distortion. Yeah,
From which track?
from that track.
Or something.
The tail is getting distorted at the end because the when we have it's like boom, and then it rings off. It's like the last little tail of it gets distorted and does that weird cool thing.
Does it ever show up after, like when you're bouncing the track?
Yeah, it's actually here. Like you can hear it. Yeah, we like liked it at the end of the day. It was kind of cool, and it comes in sometimes in the bass line, and it's really subtle, and it adds like a little harmonic, and it's cool. So, yeah, yeah. So you want to do your computer now?
Yeah.
Blur Cities is
Use
dope.
your charger.
Yeah. Before we switch computers, is there anything on here that you guys particularly wanted to know about? Anything else on here?
That flex and drop.
This one? Yeah, it's compressed as fuck. Yeah.
That's like 20.
Post or pre-reverb?
Actually, it's gonna crash. I'm not gonna open another instance. I was gonna show you another instance. This is like a sound I made like a long time ago. It like started with a pre. I wish I could pull up the preset, but I think my computer's gonna crash if I open another thing. That was like nothing like this. You know, it was like it was almost like a mallet kind of sound, and like I spent like quite a while designing it, and because I really liked the like bounciness of it. It had like a really bouncy like punch, and then it went through like a long transformation. I wish I had like
I can bring
prepared.
it up right now. Just
Do you feel like you could have probably done it quicker? You just started
Maybe, but sometimes it's like the beauty of like we
Yeah.
do a lot of our stuff from
You get
scratch.
inspiration from presets too. Sometimes.
Yeah, we do a lot of our stuff from scratch, but like this one in particular, like we were fucking around with this new plugin, like we had just gotten source when we wrote this, and just like sifting through.
Way to do that.
Let's see what we can say.
So that was it, and then it's now this. Yeah, I did a lot of envelope shaping, but keeping like mainly the attack of it in the body, and then I did a lot on the like wave shaping of it, which was cool. And then yeah, so we have that's getting arpeggiated. They're pretty complex chords. I think there's like 8 notes in each chord, or something. I don't know. It's not like that complex. Maybe this one has like 6 or 7, and then these ones have a bit more. But that's how we got like we spent a long time on the chord design on these. That's how we really got like a nice, big sounding like.
That's another thing. How do you? I mean, you've had what 15 years, so that's probably helping you big time.
Yeah, it helps.
Right?
Yeah,
Like that's probably one of the hardest things for people who don't know how to play piano or have any music theory background. Um, yeah.
yeah. I stress music theory a lot.
Really ask.
Like Christian's like an incredible songwriter, and like mainly like like you've been working on your like music theory a lot. You know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I started playing the violin when I was like 3 years old, and I stopped in high school like an idiot. I hate myself for it. But like the background is always there, but I'm not up to par with my theory like I was. So it's one of those things where I'm like trying to like get back into it now. But
No, yeah, I didn't mean that as like yeah, it's important for us, and he's
No,
been like
I
catching up a
know
ton.
that's
Like I mean, he
a
literally
real
wrote like
thing.
almost all of Blurred Cities, which is like
Yeah.
one of, like probably the best song on EP. Yeah, I mean it's sick. You'll see he'll pull it up right now, but music theory is so important, and we're both doubling up on it a lot, like big time. Even though like I might have like some knowledge, like we're really trying to dive in and become a lot better like instrumentalists as like instrumentalists. Yeah.
How do you guys actually get files from the computer effectively?
No, we don't.
we used to.
Yeah.
We used to.
We used to like bounce stems before Splice existed.
Yeah, right.
You want to?
Oh yeah, when we transferred in. We used to like live literally across the country, and we were a band, and it was ridiculously hard to like in terms of workflow and everything. But yeah, Dropbox, dude, Splice is awesome. I highly recommend it. I mean, if you have to be running the same version of the software, so like there was a time when I had 9 and he had Live 8, and we couldn't do anything together. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is a game changer.
And then like a lot of the plugins that we don't share, like those don't transfer over, so it like almost didn't make sense. Like it just still made sense to bounce stems to each other. But that stunted creative growth a lot when we were getting audio files, and I wanted to like change melody lines. If you wanted to like change like a chord I wrote or something, it was like really hard to do. But that's why we moved to LA, and we're living there together now because no more long distance shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Now we don't transfer stems at all. We literally just pick a computer. And
Yeah, exactly. This is a pretty like bit reduced chain that we made. This one's like really heavily processed. Yeah, it's a song we made for another song. And we ended up never releasing it, so we passed it over here. Yeah. Alright. Dope.